Hey, dualpreneur, do you absolutely love your job, but you also love your side business? Is your side business growing so much that you need to scale or hire people? Well, my next guest has that problem, and it's a good problem. And we're going to understand how she is doing it all and making it look good. Welcome, Dr. Tia Jackson-Truitt. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. And so, for those of you that don't know, Tia is my younger sister. I can't call her baby sister anymore because she thinks she's the boss of me, but she is my younger sister. And I am so absolutely proud of her. She is amazing in the space that she's in diversity, equity, inclusion with work, but she is also a dualpreneur. And she's having a unique experience or a unique problem, which is a good problem is
Mhm.
that now you have to scale. You now have to think about hiring people literally. And we're going to talk about that. But before we go into all of that, let's talk about how amazing you are. I know you're amazing, but let's tell the world how amazing you are. Tell us about who you are and as well as what you do for your job.
Okay, well, thank you for that intro, sister. Um, so let's see a bit about me. My name is Tia Jackson-Truitt. I currently, in my role, am the Chief Diversity Officer for the Penn Museum, located in Philadelphia. I've been in this role about 6 months. Prior to that, I've been doing DEIA work for over 15 years. Before it was a trend, I started as a social worker. I went to UPenn back in the day for my graduate degree in social work. Did a lot of work with prisons, and I was doing forensic social work and thinking about accessibility and mass incarceration issues and trying to come up with strategies to get people averted from the criminal justice system. I then pivoted into higher education about 12 years ago. I was at Georgia Tech for 11 years. I did a series of progressive DEIA programs, led a lot of pipeline programs to get more diverse students into engineering degrees from K 12 through undergrad degrees to PhDs and beyond. I'm really proud of that work. I ended up being the director of DEIA education and training for all of Georgia Tech. So I led mm, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people through various implicit bias trainings and inclusive leadership trainings and such. While in that role, I began realizing that I had a skill set and I had a level of expertise that was valuable in the marketplace. It happened to coincide with the summer of 2020, the great racial reckoning, where some people just woke up to the challenges in this country. Others of us had been living it our whole lives. But I realized I had a unique experience because I lived it, I had the expertise, I was prepared, I had the years of experience, and the market commanded it. And so that was a good time for me to launch my own consulting firm. And I've been doing that over a year now.
Mhm.
In that process, as that firm was growing, I then pivoted into my current position as
Mhm.
Chief Diversity Officer. So I'm doing those at the same time.
Wow. And so not only are you doing all of that, but you are also a mother, a wife, a sister. And I know that being a sister, especially to me, is a lot of work.
It's another job.
I require a lot of time. So, and it's funny, I tell people all the time is that, before you even thought about being a consultant, I think I created your whole website. And I was like, just in case, whenever you're ready, because you were pregnant at the time. That was
Yeah.
2 years ago, 2020. And you were like, I can't think of anything except this baby.
Mhm.
But we knew that you were going to do that because the world demanded it at the time. And when you were ready, I mean, it really kicked off. So tell us a little bit now, before I go into you talking about your side business. You said DEIA. Most people know what DEI is, diversity, equity, inclusion. But what is the A? What is
Yeah.
DEIA?
So the A is accessibility. And so I think of accessibility, we perhaps think of it most obviously around people with disabilities having access to a building, having access to a structure or a meeting. But I think it's tied to inclusion, is around accessibility when it comes to the workplace. For example, we're in a hybrid space. Are we having meetings in a way that people maybe with small children or who are caretaking elderly parents and grandparents, can they participate in the meeting? Or are we excluding them because we're demanding that it's only in person when it could be a virtual or hybrid option? Are we having it at times that's unintentionally excluding maybe working parents who have to drop off children in the morning? Are we, you know, making sure that the space is appropriate for those with visual impairments or hearing impairments or even mental health challenges? Is our workspace inclusive? Is it accessible for everyone? If we're talking about equity and inclusion, we have to make sure that we're adding accessibility to that conversation.
And that's very interesting that that is in there, which it should be, because we talk about that on the financial space. You know, I do a lot of talking about diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility to information,
Mhm,
and to the tools that we need financially to grow financially, to learn what we need to know to become wealthy, whatever that wealth defines us. So
mhm,
that's hot. Yeah,
mhm.
that's the only word I can think of. That's hot. I mean, I can think of other PhD words, but you're the one with the PhD, right? Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about what you do for your side business,
Mhm.
because what most people don't realize is that for your side business, you're kind of that chick. People are calling on you right now. Like at first, I was a celebrity. Now I'm like, no, I'm Tia's sister.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what your side business does and why you're so much in demand right now.
Yeah, and so again, the market kind of commanded this expertise, and so what happened was, uh, I think there was like an incident with a Starbucks in Philadelphia. I actually lived in Atlanta, and two black men were drinking their coffee, minding their business, and the police were called on them, and they were kicked out. And I remember saying, well, Starbucks needs to do this strategy. They need to have this marketing campaign. They need this training, and they should do this to make up for what they've done to show that they're righting their wrongs. And that happened. And then there were like two or three other high profile examples of things that were happening. And I would just throw out what I thought the strategy should be. And you may have said to me, girl, it's like you're like the Olivia Pope of like diversity, equity, and inclusion. You should make this a service. And I was like, huh. And so I coined it like diversity crisis management, diversity strategy. What do we do when we're in a crisis? How do we create a strategy that is effective, that's intentional, and that has true impact? So that's kind of once it hits the fan. But also, I want to get into diversity crisis prevention. We don't have to get there. If we trained people on how to treat people from different backgrounds, if we had critical conversations in the workplace to address different perspectives. Where can we keep it real about when I see this group of people? I'm afraid. I don't know how to approach them. I feel intimidated. Well, let's have a conversation about that so that you don't feel intimidated or that you don't call police on people, which could result in the loss of their lives. So that's a big piece of my company and organization. But I also do a lot of education and training. I have a few exclusive contracts, and I'm the lead educator and trainer to a lot of our really large Fortune 500 companies, a lot of like professional athletic organizations I work with. The big companies, if you think of them, I've probably partnered with them, led a training, did some moderator training, trained the trainer for their people in their organization. And so that is how I spend my free time is doing a lot of, I call it teaching, I call it conversations.
Mhm,
And people, I have a style that people appreciate.
mhm.
And so I think the word has spread that way.
That's good. And it's funny that both of us love teaching and educating. And that's it's because we come from educators.
Yep.
So we have an educator background, we have that passion to teach people, and we have that unique style that we learned from our grandmother,
Yep.
Jean
Yep.
Wilson. So
Yep.
that's amazing. And so because the word is spreading out about you and because there's such a demand, you are now in a position where you have to scale. And what that means is that you have to expand your business to be able to serve more clients
Mhm.
because you're just one individual and you
Mhm.
have a 2-year-old and you have a
Mhm.
husband and you have a job that you really do like. And
Mhm.
you're talking about free time. We haven't even talked about sleep and also spending time with your sister. Okay. I'm just saying. I'm her only sister, y'all. I'm just saying.
Uh-huh.
So, that's a lot. And so now you need to not only be self-employed, but now you need to actually be a business owner. And
Mhm.
when we're talking about being a business owner, now you have to have people that do the work so that you can manage the business. So
Mhm.
that you can have, you can have that time freedom to do the other things that need to be done. And so what is scaling? Or what does scaling mean to you? Because a lot
Mm.
of people hear scaling, scaling. So what is scaling your business?
Yeah, I identify it as being able to have a broader impact. I know that I can impact me, person one. I can probably impact, let's just say, 100 people a month. Let's just throw out a number, right? Based on my knowledge, when I have these sessions, it trickles out to these 100 people. But if I can duplicate or quadruple that effort, and there are four people who've been trained like me, then we can impact maybe 1,000 people a month, and maybe the tree grows broader. So I think the knowledge and the conversation having, the critical conversation, and the creating a safe space where people can really have these dialogues,
Mhm.
um, that is important. That is the work. That is what drives me every day. I want to make this world truly better, not in a cliche way either, but really, I want us to really deal with the issues of race and inequity in this country and be able to at least talk to each other.
Absolutely. So what are some tips that you have for those of us that are in that position where we have more business, but we're only one person and we still have our business? What are
Mm.
some tips that you may have to prepare ourselves to scale?
Yeah, I think you have to invest in yourself. I think one of the first things I did was invest by way of deciding I want an executive coach. I'm going to pay for this. At the time, it was a serious financial investment, but I believed the outcome would be worth it, and it was. It paid for itself within the first quarter. So, executive coaching to get really clear on what do you want to do, why do you want to do it, what is it going to look like? That could be a business coach. It could be something that's going to help you lay out your plan. So many people start with launching a website. That's step one. They build a website, they get a little page together, they launch it. They haven't talked about a marketing strategy, their target audience. Um, what is the market asking for? Where do you need to be positioned? How do you differentiate from your competitors? All of those things, those conversations to me are months, if not years, prior to
Mhm,
the launch of the website. The good news
mhm,
for us, we were talking through strategy at the same time.
mhm,
Website was being built in the
mhm,
background. And I remember you said, when you're ready, we push the button, it's live.
mhm.
So we
And
kind of
we had a lot of conversation about what is it that you want? What do you want to say? What do you want to portray? When
Mhm.
people come to your site, what do you want them to do? And a lot of my clients, they come to me wanting a website, but when I start asking the questions, they don't have the answers.
Yeah,
So they actually turn into my business coaching clients to prepare for the website. So
yeah,
that's absolutely right. The
yeah.
cart before the horse
Mhm,
situation.
mhm. So those are the things. Do the research. Start with the research. What am I trying to do? Why am I trying to do it? What is my why? What is motivating me? If it's just to get rich real quick, think about that. There are probably other ways to do that. I'm not knocking that. Get your bag. But oftentimes I see people fail really quickly, and I can almost predict it when they jump out with the launch of a product or a business or a service, and I know they haven't studied the market. You want to know what pricing structure is fair and makes sense. Based on your pricing structure, who is your audience and who are your potential clients? Does that structure make sense based on your expertise and what you can provide? All of those conversations have to be had before you jump out. So I'd say do that first. Once you're kind of clearer, don't be afraid to invest in yourself, whatever that may be and whatever that may look like. Make the investments and then find partners, to people to model after, people to get information from. Don't just pick someone's brain. I don't believe in unpaid labor. So, offer a service or something if you want to really get time with people and really hear from them. So that is what I would begin with. Research the market, invest in your business, hire a business or executive coach, Then think about website branding, marketing, identify 3 people in the space who you want to model yourself after. There might be certain pieces from each one, and start there. And then surround and then be wary of who you share the vision and the mission with. You don't want
Mm,
any negative energy on your goal. You be really careful with who you share that with, because you just never know what that energy can do to the outcome. So hold it close. Be cautious on when and where and who you share that with. And then, I'm all about do it, don't talk about it, just be about it. So just pop out. When it's all said and done, pop out with quality, right?
mhm,
With something you could be proud of if you've done your due diligence. Do all those
mhm.
things. And then when it's time to jump, you know, you'll land
Break
on
out. And there it is.
your
Break out. I love it. So what are some of the challenges that you're facing right now with having to scale? It's not, oh, I think I might want to. You're in a position where you have to scale because you have more business in 2023 that's about to happen.
Yeah, I think the challenges are a couple of things. Trying to anticipate what the needs will be, right? And so there is a need for additional master trainers who can go out and lead the curriculum after they've kind of received my leadership and training and guidance to do so. There are questions about they have to match the quality. They have to have the theoretical knowledge. They can't just like read a script, right? They have to be able to be in a room and represent my brand at close to the level that I would do. And so it's identifying those people, making sure they have the subject matter expertise and the personality and the style to represent the brand in these big rooms, right? So that's probably half of it. And then it's the administrative tasks, which I don't enjoy. And so there's accounting procedures and invoicing and scheduling and just administrative
Mhm,
assistance. Things that I could kind of do to keep everything afloat have now become a really large undertaking. And so I
mhm,
know I'm at a pivot point
mhm,
where if I don't scale and do it effectively and with the right folks, then I probably won't reach the potential that I know is out there. I know once I put the pieces together and set my
mhm,
intention behind it, it'll go pretty far. And I think I'm at this pivot point of
mhm.
what do I do?
Exactly. And in 2023, I've coined that as the tribe factor. Is that we're going to succeed once we build our tribe, once we build
Mhm,
our team, that
mhm,
is when we're going to take off in 2023. We can no longer do this alone. And it
mhm,
also falls in line with the dualpreneur philosophy. You either do it, delegate it, or delete it.
mm,
Right. So you do those revenue generating activities, you do those trainings, you do the relationship building, you do whatever you need to do to make that
mhm,
money for the
mhm,
client, but
mhm,
then you delegate or automate those things that must be done to help you make the money. But those
mhm,
administrative tasks, the
mhm,
invoicing tasks, the bookkeeping tasks, the sales and marketing tasks, you have to delegate some of those things, if not all of those things, so that you can focus on doing the revenue generating activity. And
yep,
then you have to delete some of the things that you really would like to do but may not be necessary, may not, help get you the money that you need right now. So it's
mhm,
not like you're deleting it forever. You're just delaying it maybe to fourth quarter of
yeah,
2023.
yeah,
Sometimes deleting is not tasks. Sometimes deleting is people.
yes,
Sometimes the people that came up with you, they're not at that level to continue on with you, and it's okay.
yeah,
And sometimes you have to let go of certain people, even family members that try to dissuade you. Is that a word? I don't know.
yeah,
They try to, say, oh, you shouldn't do this, you need to focus on your family, you need to do this or whatever. Sometimes you got to disconnect from
mhm,
those people and get with people that can give you strategies and ideas on
yeah,
how you can make it happen, because balance is a bad word. There's no such thing as balance. There is prioritizing when necessary. And you've done an amazing job with it. I don't know how you do it. You also have an amazing partner, your husband,
yeah.
that, helps you. So what are some of the advantages that you feel with having this side business?
I mean, I think when I got really serious about it, of course, you and I have had many, many conversations, often over a napkin, scribbled on the back of a napkin, what the strategy should be, what it could look like, where do we go from here. But when I got very serious about this, I hired an executive leadership coach, And the very first question she said is, what is your why? And it cannot just be money, because I am motivated by, financial means. That is important to me. I want to set my children up to be successful and not have to hustle as hard as I've had to. But I had to really sit with that. What is my actual why, right? And so I thought of two things, and I call it like my two E's: is to educate and is to empower. So my why is I want to educate people, especially those who maybe are not from diverse backgrounds, on the realities of our lived experience. Any setting on earth, I can do that in any setting, any organization, any company. It does not matter. There is always someone who's going to be more privileged. There's always going to be a population that's more marginalized. I want to educate the privileged people on what the experience is. I then want to empower the marginalized, or those who have less power. I want to empower them to fight for change, to use their voice, to advocate, to get what they need, to shake the leaves, to yell, to do whatever they need to do to get whatever is owed to them. And so those are like my two E's. That's like my why, like my philosophy, my guiding principle. But it is also financial wealth and means and resources and access for my children. I want them to live a certain life. I want them to have generational wealth. I want them to be comfortable. I want to change my family trajectory. We are fourth generation. My daughter actually has the privilege to be a fourth generation college student. That is profound to me. I don't take that lightly. The impact our grandmother, Jean Wilson, had, our mother, Stephanie Jackson, had, what I have shown my daughter going to school, getting a PhD while working full time, did that while raising her. And
We
then,
all we all got your damn PhD.
and
Let,
then
let's be let's be clear.
you
Let's be
showing them
clear.
it's possible. So
We all got her PhD. We went through that with her, but we were so happy when you did that. That was so,
yeah, that was
and
a
it was a lot because it was a month after mom passed away. You
yeah,
know.
she passed the day I defended and was crowned. Kind of like, it's like this academic process where you have to go defend and they have to decide and vote. This was after years and years um,
Mhm,
of education and classes at night while working full time.
mhm,
Maybe that was the building block. Maybe that is how I learned how to do all these various things at the same
mhm,
time. But um, the day that I defended, I was successful. I went to see her in the hospital. I said, "Mom, I did it." And she said, "Are you a doctor now?" I said, "I am a doctor now."
mhm.
And she told
Yeah.
everyone who came in the room, and she
Yes.
passed, unfortunately, 7 days later. I think she waited for me. Uh,
Mhm,
but I carry that. I mean, that's big, right? I feel like
mhm,
I have her and my grandmother on my shoulder to push me forward. I don't have any excuses. And so when you talk about like the vision and who you share that with, I'm really mindful of that. I don't talk to everyone about what I want to do and where I want to go. I just rather show you than tell you. Uh, I identify people who can push and motivate, my executive coach, you, other people who are where I want to be. I talk to people who are, 10 times better off than I am in whatever the facet may be. Maybe it's parenting one week, maybe it's fitness, maybe it's relationships, maybe it's their business has thrived. And those are the people I choose to consult with to get to where I want to be. So that is how I monitor the energy and who speaks over my life. But that is what drives me. What drives me is really education, empowering people, and really setting up my children and my children's children for the best life they can live.
wow. That's amazing. So, and it's funny, we are sisters. If I didn't have if I had any doubt, what you just said, we are sisters, because my whole thing with the financial space that I'm in has always been to educate and empower,
Mm,
with Mad Money, right? To educate those that want the knowledge and to empower those that, with the knowledge, now they can change their whole
mhm,
life. They can change, their financial destiny if they
mhm.
want to, if they believe, and if they just put into action. So that just proves that we are siblings. We are the same blood. I love it. So what is next for Tia Jackson? Like your company name right now is Ask Dr. Tia, right?
Mhm.
So tell us what's next for you for 2023 and beyond. What are you
Yeah.
looking for, or what do you need? And then how can people find you?
Yeah. So what's next? What I envision is really increasing the number of companies I work directly with on these training opportunities. Like I said, I have a lead contract with a big organization. Um, who it's interesting. We started off with a 90-day commitment, and then it was 6 months, and then it was 90 days, and then they contacted me and said we just want to contract with you for the whole year. And so we're finishing up those negotiations. I think I'm doing something right, but they have access to all the major companies in the world. And so they're kind of waiting on me. Like, how much of this business are you interested in? And I think I'm going to have to just say, I can take it all. Uh, and knowing that is going to force my hand in scaling. And so putting the intention out for more business, I really want to kind of quadruple what I've done this year, this first full year, operational year of my business. I've been able to surpass my income earnings at my previous role at my previous employer, and that was my first intention. My first intention was, if I can if I can mimic what I'm making now in my previous role, then maybe I can sustain myself and I can just do my business. And then this year, I just realized I surpassed that goal while having my full time job. And so now I'm like, let me set a new goal. And so I'd like to probably quadruple what I've done this first year on the side, while doing really high quality work at my main job. Um, and so scaling, getting more opportunities, quadrupling that number, and then identifying two people who can be trained by me, who can then go in and take some of this work in quarter 3 and quarter 4. Long term, I'd like to offer training programs like Train the Trainers. There are so many people that say, I want to get into DEIA work, I want to be a facilitator, or they just want to learn how to kind of facilitate really critical, controversial topics. I do have a way to do that. And I can see a world where I train people, or I create a course and take them through a course process. And then they can go out and train folks on lots of topics. It does not have to only be DEI topics, because I'm cautious of people who want to jump in the 13th hour like it's a trend, because it's not. These issues will be here long. They were here before we were born. They will be here after we're gone. Um, and so if people want to do the work, they want to learn how to do the training, and if they kind of see it as a goal, but they want to do it effectively, I want to help them do that. And so that's kind of probably a year out, where I teach a course and train people on how to train on these critical conversations. That's kind of my goal in the next 12 months.
Well, that's gonna happen, with me around. It's just gonna happen. You're gonna do it. How about that? So how can people get in contact with you, learn more about you?
Yeah, so you can find me. My website is askdrtia.com. Ask Dr. Tia, TIA.com. You can hit me there. You can find me on LinkedIn under Tia Jackson-Truitt. Those are the two professional uh, spaces you can find me at the most. And I look forward to hearing from folks, partnering if the opportunity is right. Um, I want to see us win.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, T. I know you're very busy. And I love that you make time for me again. It's a lot of work, but I so appreciate it. And thank you
Of
for
course,
my niece and for my nephew
of
and for
course.
everything that you're doing in the DEIA space. You're great. So everyone, thank you so much. Make sure you go to her website, Ask Dr. Tia. Let me know how you like it. Just saying. Ask AskDrtia.com. Until next time, thanks for watching and listening.